There we go, broadcast on podium. We're going to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Palumbi?
Yes.
Councilmember Graves?
Here.
Councilmember Saper?
Here.
Councilmember Tull?
Here.
Councilmember Smith?
Here.
Councilmember Fitzgerald?
Here.
Councilmember Roberts?
Here.
And Councilmember Clark.
Here.
These names are still not goofy. Okay. Pledge of allegiance. Tonight will be led by Councilmember Palumbi. I think. All right, next item, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is comments from the public. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I'm George Sluter. I live at 800 East 23rd Avenue. I want to comment on the work session this evening. Number one, I'm a walker, not a biker, and I'm not sure how those two blend together very well. What limited experience I've had is that bikers don't seem to care about walkers, so I'd like to give some consideration for that. I also think that before you proceed any further, you need to get more commitment from ODOT, at least a concept approved before you start spending additional money on it. And the 2.5 million, if you're looking at maybe not doing this for a year or 2 years, you got to be looking at 3 million, not 2 million on the thing. And the other point I want to bring up is the fact that I understand you're now looking at something for the Diamond Parkway 16th, 14th connection, and I think that ought to be tied together and look at this together rather than looking at just one of them, because I don't know that we need both of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Further comments from the public. We're running out of people quickly. All right. Seeing none. Next up, the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed? No. Motion carries. Next item. Yeah, that's a long one.
Contract between Raftellus Financial Consultants Incorporated and the City of North Kansas City for sewer surcharge review and update. Resolution number 22-073.
Kim?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. What's before you today is an agreement for further kind of like a deep dive into our surcharge for our wastewater. When we submitted, or when we had the work session for the upcoming water and sewer charge, Raftellus, Tom presented in the fact that our surcharge, there is some things in there that we'd like to do a deep dive. It's outside of the scope of our rate study. This agreement would allow them to kind of really dig into that, look at our code, and bring forward any recommendations.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any questions from council? Councilmember Saper.
Actually, not a question on this item. I support it. But I think it's time to revisit the issue of maybe having our own wastewater treatment facilities. There's federal money that's been floating around out there the last few years. It would be an expensive project, but it would give us control of our water rates and not be dependent on the ever-increasing Kansas City, Missouri wastewater treatment rates, which will continue to go up under their consent decree. So I would just like to have us think about that. This might be a time to really strike on that while the money's floating out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Further councilmember comments? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed? No. Motion carries.
Tax Increment Financing Commission Reconstitution and Appointment Process, Bill number 7708, ordinance number 9505.
Tom, you want me to get this one? No. Go ahead, Tom.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, good evening. You already have a memo in front of you. I want to just highlight just a couple of things. City originally established a TIF commission by ordinance back in 1996. And for all these years, the law really has been the same as it applied to this city. But the state legislature changed the law in 2008, and it had no impact on the city whatsoever regarding the organization of TIF commissions. Then the county, in its wisdom, the voters decided to have a constitution, and we ended up with a charter form of government. The section of the state statute that was amended said that if you have a TIF commission, and I'm paraphrasing, in a city, in a county that has a charter form of government and has a population over 250,000 and less than some other number, and didn't think too much about it, none of us did candidly, but at the last sentences, we, as a county, effective July 1 of a year ago in 2021, guess what? We were over that.
We're gonna
And
demand a
so
recount.
now, we have, always before, our current TIF commission was organized with 6 appointments by the city, by the mayor with the approval of the council. Now, we fall under a different process. We only have 3 appointments from the city, and the Clay County presiding commissioner appoints 6. And there's some others that are provided for in the memo. And so, because the law is not necessarily super clear, in consultation with the city's bond counsel that gets involved in a lot of this stuff, and David Martin with Gilmore and Bell, our bond counsel, is here this evening, in case there is a real specific question. Ultimately, what we are asking for in the ordinance that's before you this evening is to do a couple of very brief but important things, okay? First of all, the ordinance indicates that the city must comply with the new TIF Act as it's been amended, and therefore the mayor is given the authority to appoint those people with your approval, okay, meaning you would bring the names like you always had. Secondly, it would grant the mayor the authority to issue what I'll call an executive order that has been prepared by actually a suggested form by Gilmore and Bell, with Mr. Sparks and I both approving it as well. And this would grant him to do those things necessary to carry out the intent of this, what I'll call reconstituted TIF commission. I won't get into any of the other specific details, but one important thing that you need to be aware of is, if you'll recall, about 6 weeks ago, the first meeting in August of this year, you approved by ordinance the Third Amendment to our TIF plan for One North. After, again, talking with Mr. Martin, it's been recommended that that be revisited by the reconstituted TIF Commission and then brought back to you. And perhaps it's out of an overabundance of caution, but on something like this, we would rather end up being a little bit more conservative about it. Be glad to answer, and so we're recommending that this ordinance be passed, which would authorize that order to be done, which would authorize the reconstitution, according to now state law for us, be approved. So I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have. Or again, I have, and Mr. Webster's here as well.
Councilmember Smith.
I'm not sure who would answer this question, but if we do revisit the TIF piece and have to reapprove it and all that, will that result in any delays or real consequences in the One North development?
Yeah, is that right? Matt, that might be.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Matt Webster with Stephen Nicolaus. The answer is that right now we're operating under the deadlines approved in the Third Amendment to the Master Development Agreement, which calls for all this to be wrapped up by the end of the year. We need the reconstituted TIF Commission in order to facilitate the issuance of debt, which is part of the capital. Now, again, I want to emphasize that it's not the debt of the city, but it's a similar structure that we used in the earlier phases of the project. So this is just sort of a necessary administrative accommodation and something that as Mr. Barzee explained, has just come up that needs to be corrected.
Sure, thank you. And so I know the wheels of government can grind rather slowly. We do have some pressing timelines on One North, as you mentioned. We have to reconstitute this TIF commission, and that is also, as I understand from the memo, at the mercy of the presiding commissioners of Clay County, and there's a lot of hands in the cookie jar, as it were. So if we're gonna have to revisit this, like, this has to happen quickly, correct?
Yes, it
Is there
does.
anything we can do to press this process forward? I know other cities are doing it.
He'll appoint when he appoints.
It's already been noticed, and the presiding commissioner is aware of this. This is common also to the city of Smithville, which has an active TIF commission, and the city of Liberty, which also has active TIF commission, and also to the city of Kansas City, Missouri, which has part of Clay County within its city limits.
It does sound as
Right.
though
In
he's
the
willing
notice-
to appoint in a somewhat short order.
Expeditious. I mean, if Liberty's pressing on it, that City Hall is where they meet,
It-
right? So like, I guess or close enough.
And subject to your approval this evening, the notices actually are ready to go out by certified mail tomorrow.
We have a 45-day period to get all this in order before the meeting actually takes place.
Do it.
So, yeah, we just need to move forward, and it's administrative accommodation is the way I would describe
3,000 people. Thank you, census.
First reading.
First reading. Yeah.
Any further council member comments?
Second.
Okay, is there a second, right?
Yeah.
All in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries.
An ordinance providing for the reconstitution of the Tax Increment Financing Commission in the city of North Kansas City, considering the appointment process of the members of the Tax Increment Financing Commission, and granting certain authority to the mayor with respect to the TIF Commission.
I move that bill number 7708 be placed on second and final reading and passes ordinance number 9505.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Palumbi?
Yes.
Councilmember Graves?
Yes.
Councilmember Saper?
Yes?
Councilmember Toll?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts?
Yes.
Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
An ordinance providing for the reconstitution of the Tax Increment Financing Commission in the city of North Kansas City, considering the appointment process of the members of the Tax Increment Financing Commission, and granting certain authority to the mayor with respect to the TIF Commission.
Fantastic. Go.
Item 13, approval of 2022 tax levy. Bill number 7709, ordinance number 9506.
All right.
Public hearing.
I'm going to lead off with opening the public hearing. Right? Okay, there we go. The public hearing is open. Staff report, please.
Before you is the ordinance setting the hearing for the levy for the 2022 tax year, fiscal year 2023. It's what sets our property tax revenue for the next fiscal year. Are there any questions?
That was quick. All right, any questions on that? All right. Are there anyone from the public wishing to speak on the tax levy? No. Okay. Then I will close. I need a motion. I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close.
Second.
All in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed, no. The public hearing is closed. Now, Malador, we already get any further council discussion?
First reading.
Second.
There we go. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries.
An ordinance fixing the rate of taxation for general municipal purposes and for special purposes, and setting the tax levy on taxable property within the limits of the city of North Kansas City, Missouri for the year 2022.
I move that bill number 7709 be placed on second and final reading and passes ordinance number 9506.
Second.
Councilmember Saber.
I just want people to know that this actually means no change in our current levies at this time.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Palumbi? Yes. Councilmember Graves?
Yes.
Councilmember Saper?
Yes?
Councilmember Toll?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
An ordinance fixing the rate of taxation for certain municipal purposes and for special purposes and setting the tax levy on taxable property within the limits of the city of North Kansas City, Missouri for the year 2022. Number 14, budget amendment, amending the general parks and library fund revenue budgets for fiscal year 2022-2023 in the amount of $93,800 to reflect submitted tax levy estimates. Resolution number 22-074.
All right, very simply, as a result of our last action, we now have to do a budget amendment in the amount of $93,800.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any council member comments? Seeing none, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Number 15, approving accounts due and payable by the city through September 16th, 2022. Bill number 7710, ordinance number 9507.
First
First-
reading.
Second.
All in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries.
An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through September 16th, 2022.
I move that bill number 7710 be placed on second and final reading and pass as ordinance number 9507.
Second.
That was your second, right? Okay.
Second.
Call the roll,
Councilmember
please.
Palumbi?
Yes.
Councilmember Graves?
Yes.
Councilmember Saper?
Yes.
Councilmember Toll?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts?
Yes.
Councilmember Clark. An ordinance authorizing payment for certain accounts due and payable by the city through September 16th, 2022.
All right, now the pressure's on here. Staff comments.
Tonight, in staff comments, we got the upcoming city items of note. We do have the YMCA financial note in there as of the end of August. YMCA is running at a surplus of $20,000, a little over $20,000. Also have the report on the Healthy Citizens Initiative that the Y does, how many residents are taking advantage of that, as well as court reports, and I think Kim has.
I was just going to mention that the second version of the Citizens Academy, the second class, I guess I should say, begins on Thursday, October 6th. We do have 10 people. We have room for a few more, should anybody be listening and would like to sign up.
Fantastic. Councilmember Safer. There we go.
I'm so glad you asked.
Was it scripted?
If anybody is interested in joining the Citizens Academy, they can actually call City Hall and ask for Deputy City Clerk Mallory Brown, and she'd be more than happy to sign you up.
There we go. Thank you. Further staff comments? There you go. All right. Councilmember Palumbi.
I have no comments this evening.
Councilmember Graves.
Mark the tape. I have no comments this evening.
Councilmember Safer.
I would hope that people would take advantage of the Citizens Academy. It's proven to be highly successful, as one of our sitting council people has participated, and now he's on the council. So please, if you're at all interested, get more information, and better yet, take part.
Thank you, Councilmember Toll.
I would like to say thank you for that 6 o'clock presentation. It was phenomenal, and I loved how he walked us through in that 3D model. It was just, for me, as someone who doesn't do that for a living, so much easier than looking at the red line on the flat map to actually see what it's going to look like. I thought that was great, and hopefully we can find a way to push that out to citizens.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith.
Armor Road is coming along, and downtown streetscape is looking nice. I'm sure Adam is happy to have the sidewalk back in front of his place of commerce. And the little starbursty guys on the corners are looking good, so I encourage you to take a walk downtown. It's kind of nice.
Thank you, Councilmember Fitzgerald.
To build on Councilmember Saper's comments, the Citizens Academy, I can vouch, is interesting and a good experience, so definitely worth checking out.
Thank you, Councilmember Roberts.
No comments.
Councilmember Clark.
Thank you to those who came out to the River Forest Park share out. That was amazing. I also echo how incredible the East-West Armor Road Connection Study presentation was tonight. That was the first thing I've seen presented by the city or for the city that connected Ward 4 in such a choice way. I really felt like I saw my neighborhood just immediately just beeline into the, linked, exactly. We're all connected. Okay,
Go
thanks.
perfect.
That's it.
Actually called on everybody, right? Okay, good. I have no comments. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Adjourn.
Do we have to vote? Yes.
Opposed? No. There we go. Put us back on, Steve.